All right, welcome to another Beta Alpha Psi meeting, everybody. Today, I'm going to be presenting Wiley, CPA, CMA, and the CFA exam. Funny enough, they actually are going to get acquired by UWorld 2024, so this is going to be my last time presenting Wiley. And at first I figured, why not I do it here today? So let's get this going. Just make sure something in the chat here real quick before, okay, double show. Okay. So get this going. All right, so Wiley and Sons, they've been around for over 200 years of excellence. You may have seen them in textbooks. You might see them in books. You also may have used them for your homework assignments using Wiley Plus. But just a little bit more about Wiley. Wiley's been a value source of information for more than 200 years. Their content, products, and services help researchers, professionals, educators, and students around the world meet their needs and fulfill their aspirations. So we have over 5,000 plus employees worldwide, $1.8 billion in revenue. 50% of our revenue comes out of the United States. 60% of them come from our digital products that will be acquired by UWorld. So myself, obviously today, I am going to be today's presenter. I am a senior accounting major at Fairleigh Dickinson University, an aspiring CPA and CMA. I'm also a Wiley campus ambassador, and in 2024, we transitioned over to be a UWorld campus ambassador. I'm also the AICPA campus ambassador, NJCPA, and also IMA campus ambassador as well. And I know we do have IMA coming in November to speak about IMA and the CMA exam. I will touch a little bit about that in today's presentation as well. So please through. So what do I do as a Wiley campus ambassador? So I help spread awareness of Wiley products. I help share presentations and info from Wiley relevant to you guys, and also help you guys get a discounted test prep course of your choice. So today we'll be talking about other certifications that we do offer here at Wiley. We'll talk about the CPA exam. We'll also talk about the evolution for the CPA exam coming in 2024. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the CMA exam, and we'll also talk about the CFA exam. And if time does permit, we'll go over a live demo of what the Wiley product does look like if anyone's interested in buying a product. And then we'll also talk about discounts at our campus ambassador program. That'll be Wiley/UWorld in 2024. And then we'll go over Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So before we begin, I just want to show you guys this Venn diagram. So basically, this is a Venn diagram, a stackable search that can up-leverage your career. So we have CFA, which is financial analysis, CFP, personal financial planning, the MBA, business management, and also the CPA right in the middle, language of business. And funny enough, this actually is based off of our lead instructor at Wiley, who's the CFP exam review instructor, Ben Jones. So let's move on to part one, and then we'll talk about our other certification courses we do offer here. We'll talk about the CFA in just a little bit, but just a snippet of it. It is considered the gold standard in investment industry. We'll come back to this a little bit later. So the CAIA, which is the Chartered Alternative Investment Analysis, which specializes in alternative investments, such as hedge funds, private equities, real assets, commodities, and structured products. We also have the financial risk management, which is a globally recognized standard for risk professionals. We also have the Chartered Market Technician, which is a global designation for practitioners of technical analysis. We also have the CFP, which is becoming very popular between finance majors and wealth management majors, which is basically financial advisors or consultants and are working in insurance, broker houses, or the banking industry. And then last, the CIMA, the Certified Investment Management Analysis exam, which is the professional certification for financial advisors and investment consultants in advanced portfolio construction. So let's now move on to how to plan for CPA exam success. And we will be talking about as well the new exam coming out in a couple of months with the 2024 evolution. So we'll talk about the education experience requirements, the CPA exam timing, the exam format. I'll talk about both formats and the application process for how you have to plan for your CPA exam. So when planning for an exam, there are 3 E's to licensure. The first one is exam, you take the CPA exam. The second, education, where we're all here today, getting an education, getting a degree. And then the experience, that's your internships, any part-time or full-time positions you have, that would be considered your experience. So the educational requirements. So to take the CPA exam, you need a bachelor's degree and you need 120 total semester units. This includes 24 semester units of accounting subjects. So here offered FDU, I know it's intermediate financial accounting 1, 2, AIS, accounting information systems, advanced accounting, those types of accounting classes, and then 24 semester units of business subjects. So all of your business core classes that you take here at FDU, that would fulfill those semester units. Now, to get licensed as a CPA, you need 150 total semester units, including 20 of those semester units in accounting study subjects and 10 of them being in ethics study subjects, which luckily here at FDU, we do have our 4+1 program, which helps us prepare for the CPA exam, like currently I will be doing next year. So let's talk about the experience requirements. So you need 1 year of general accounting experience. So basically, you have to provide a type of service or give advice involving the use of accounting, government, advisory, tax, or consulting, and the experience must be signed by an active CPA. So the type of work, so if you do part-time work, it's equivalent to 2,000 hours, full-time work, almost equivalent to a year, 12 months. Now, fun fact, there's actually 2 types of license for CPAs. There's a type G license with a general license, which means you cannot assign test reports, and a type A license, which means you can assign 500 test hours as a requirement, and you can also sign those as test reports. So I will do after this presentation, I will send this out to all of our members. This is basically a link for experience, what you do need for requirements. This does go over all the state requirements, but for the ones here in New Jersey, you do need a citizenship requirement, residency, and what's not required is participate in international programs. So save you time there. So, all right, let's talk about the CPA exam timing. It's a cruel world out there. Get it? Cruel. All right, so this is going to be for the current CPA exam that's out there right now. So there's 4 sections, 4 parts of the CPA exam. First one, which is the audit exam. Now, this covers your auditing procedures, GAAS, the generally accepted auditing standards, and a test agreement engagements. The second section, which is BEC, which is exam that covers your general business knowledge. So these are the courses that you took with your other non-accounting majors like economics, finance, and information systems. Now, raise of hands, and you can do it on Zoom if you want. Whose favorite class was intermediate accounting? It's okay to be honest. And of course, no one's gonna raise their hand, but I know mine was. So if you do like that, you might enjoy the FAR part of the exam. So this is the nuts and bolts of accounting, the debits and the credits. Now, if you like your tax class, then you'll definitely love Reg. This section includes federal tax, business law, ethics, and professional and legal responsibilities. For me, this involves a fair amount of memorization because it's a lot of the federal tax law is based on the legislation and doesn't necessarily have particular logic to like as much of accounting. So you're probably wondering, well, what order should I take the CPA exam? Well, usually we have here BEC, audit, reg, and FAR. But here at Wiley, we have a theory, or more of a big rock theory. The way we think about it is this: you take FAR first, then audit and reg, and then take your BEC. And basically the timeline would look like this. And it's 18-month countdown to the day when you pass your first section of the CPA exam. And I think
They extended.
Oh, they did? Oh, great.
3 years.
3 years, great. It's awesome. I think no one on this call, I think, is a grad student, so I'm going to exclude the 2023. So for 2024, basically, we'll talk about the CPA evolution and how that will affect the CPA exam. But for current students who are currently taking some parts of CPA exam, time management is key. Remember, you do have your focus route, pass in 6 to 12 months, depending on the grad date. And they have a blended route, which bridges the current and the new versions. So if you're planning on doing the new versions of the CPA exam in 2024, you can take some parts of it now, and then you can finish the rest up later. So to go over the exam timeline more in depth. So the first, my clicker's not working. We'll talk about first to apply. So you want to apply to NASBA or your state board, allowing 2 to 4 weeks for them to process and approve your application. For the state of New Jersey, it's the NJCPA. Applications aren't reviewed until all documents have been submitted. The reviewer won't contact you if something is missing. Many states have a checklist to help you file properly. And then you have your NTS, or your notice to schedule. So for most of these states, an NTS will be valid for 6 months. Apply and pay exam fees for only those parts that you can realistically sit for in that period. And once your application has been approved, you'll be given the go-ahead to pay your examination fee in order to receive your NTS. So if your state requires you do pay an application exam fee at the same time, start preparing for it while you wait for the application to be approved. And again, if you do find out you didn't pass a section, you cannot retake it during the same testing window. If it is early within the testing window, consider reviewing and taking on another exam section. If it is late in the testing window, maybe it's better to restudy the section you didn't pass on and retake it as soon as possible. Now, I will note one thing, that your 18-month or the time that you start to plan your NTS starts the day you pass the first section you ultimately pass, not the first day you took the section, the day you first passed it. And then obviously, rinse and repeat for the 4 other sections for the other 4 sections CPA exam. So basically at Wiley, and I will show this in a live demo later today, how basically Wiley can prepare you to take the CPA exam. So again, let's say if you're planning on taking it, February 24th, 2019, and you want to study, a little bit, throughout the day, the weekday, maybe, take a day off of Friday. It basically gives you a plan of how many hours a week you have to study for and for how many weeks, which is really, really cool. Now, the suggested study time for each of the sections. So far, we suggest you study for 200 hours, audit 100 hours, reg 120, and BEC for 100 hours. So really, if you do the math in your head, it's really 520 hours combined, all 4 of them. So let's now talk about the exam format. I was so happy I passed 1 section of CPA exam. I forgot there were 3 more. So the exam type or the exam format for each of the 4 parts CPA exam is very, very different. 3 of the 4 are the same. Well, 1 of them does add a new part into it. So for every section of the CPA exam, your multiple choice performance makes up about 50% of your exam score, and your TBS or your task-based simulations make up the other 50. Now for BEC, it's basically 62 questions, 4 task-based simulations, and then there's 3 written communication questions. The only time you'll have written communications with BEC, every other section you will not have it. Hence the testlets that are on the bottom here that do explain that. So it's pretty simple. If 50% of your score is based on multiple choice, you should allow 50% of your total time to work on the multiple choice questions, which equate to 2 hours or 1 hour per testlet. Then you'll have the remainder of your time for the 3 task-based simulations for the 2 hours. And I basically broke it down in a nice little pie chart that I have here. So again, for audit and reg, it's 50% task-based simulations, 50% multiple choice. For BEC, it's 50% multiple choice, 35% task-based simulations, and there's going to be 15% of the written communications. And that's only for BEC only. So we'll show you now an example of what a question would look like in the CPA exam. So again, when you do take the CPA exam, you base on the question, you have your choices. And this is basically, if you choose our Wiley product, it basically give you a calculator, Excel, an overview, and help. And obviously, if we keep going further, it'll even show you about the exhibits. Obviously, when you do go more heavily in depth on those bigger questions, you have something to read, you have exhibits to look at. It might seem like a lot, but trust me, it's there to help you. So now let's talk about on the exam day. So in my opinion, I suggest running through the CPA exam tutorial and sample test on the AICPA website, so you can familiarize yourself with the format and functionality before the big day. When I mean the big day, I mean your exam day. This is a screenshot of the welcome screen. You're going to have 10 minutes to complete the introductory tasks. So that's launch code, confidentiality agreement, all other fun stuff before the welcome part is timed out. Now, here's a good use of your time. In those precious 10 minutes, grab your laminated sheet of paper that you've been given to do your calculation and perform a brain dump. You're probably thinking, well, what is a brain dump? Well, a brain dump is when you write down all the formulas, the definitions, or whatever you memorize, and just get it all out there before you start the exam. You'd be surprised on how much you could get out on your sheet of paper in those 10 minutes. But do not let the clock expire on you. Otherwise, you will have to leave and reapply, pay for a new exam. We don't want that to happen. So if you get 1 point out of this, time management. Manage your time wisely when you're preparing for the exam. So basically, this is what the format will be. So you have the welcome launch code and the confidentiality agreement. That'll take about 10 minutes. Then you have your first multiple choice question testlet, then your second one, then your first task-based simulation testlet. Then your break will come here, right between the first and second one. Then you have your second task-based simulation testlet. And then it'll either be your third one, or if you're taking back, you're doing your written responses and then the survey at the end. So again, I will include links here on what is on the current exam, but I know everyone, I think majority of the people that are here today are graduating 2024, 2025. So everyone's going to probably know about, well, what's happening to the CPA exam in 2024? Well, what basically is happening is that the CPA exam is going to evolve. And what I mean by that is basically the CPA evolution. So it'll be a dynamic new approach to CPA licensure that positions the profession for success now and in the future and ensures that the continued public protection. So basically the CPA exam is going to get redone. So At its core, you basically have your core. So you're accounting, audit, tax, and tech. After that, you basically have three out branches. Again, tax compliance and planning, business analysis and reporting, and information systems and control. I'll give you a better picture of it later in the presentation. But basically, the reason why I develop a core plus the discipline model is that it provides numerous benefits for positioning the profession for future amidst an ever-changing business. Now, it will enhance a public protection for reducing candidates who have a deep knowledge necessary to perform high-quality work, meeting the needs of organizations, firms, and the public, and plus it results in one CPA licensure. So basically at its core, basically, it provides a deeper dive into the learning objectives associated with intermediate accounting topics, including 37 learning objectives, for which 19 of them include variations of the statement using appropriate technology. And this is what the CPA evolution looks like. Now you're probably wondering, well, Jack, why is it a tree? Well, it is a tree actually. So you base up your foundation. So FDU Silberman, that's the foundation. Then you have core, which you're accounting and data analytics. Then you're auditing and AIS, so accounting information systems, and then you have tax. Once you complete those three, you basically have to choose either one. So you either could choose the three outstanding branches. So business analysis and reporting, information systems and control, or tax compliance and planning. And the best part about it is you can just pick one and that's it. You don't have to do all three of them. You pick the one that best suits you. So let's just say if you're like, oh, I'm more about technology, more about information systems, you could do that. If you feel like more advanced at tax, pick tax. It's basically up to you. So basically at its core, the ICS part will contain IT governance and ERM, the IT general controls of cybersecurity, info process controls, the system and organization controls, and assurance research. For the bar section of the CPA exam, this will include advanced accounting, including governmental accounting, cost accounting, advanced data analytics, and accounting research. And then the TP part of the CPA exam will include individual compliance and planning, corporate compliance and planning, personal financial planning, and tax research. So in summary, the application examination process, I put in a cute little timeline of how you would do it. So basically, you will apply it for your exam, submit the payment, receive your NTS, schedule your exam, take your exam. Now, obviously, I don't know, I forgot to put this in there, but there really should be one part right before you receive your NTS, and that's the study. Study for the CPA exam. Study. It's very, very important that you do that. Once then you'll receive your score, rinse and repeat. You do the same thing for the current CPA exam, for the evolution. You do the same thing until you get to when you're done with your core. You basically pick one of the branches to do, and then once then, you basically will take ethics exam and apply for licensure, and then you maintain your license by getting CPE credits. So the test center Prometric. So you're able to schedule your exam with Prometric. So scheduling early, 45 days before it gives you the best chance of choice of dates and times. And their online scheduling tool and provides various hours. Some weekends are available as well. So you may be wondering, well, how does CPA exam scoring work? Well, actually, this is how it works. So basically the Prometric, they send the responses to AICPA, which is the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, for scoring. AICPA then sends those over to NASBA. NASBA sends these over to each state board. So again, say if I took the CPA exam, I took one part of it. The Prometric send it over to AICPA. AICPA will send it over to NASBA. NASBA send it over to NJCPA. And the state board, which will release those scores to the candidates. And the timeline I have up there, 1 to 20 days would be 11 business days after day 20, 21 to 45 days would be 6 business days after day 45, and then 46 and close 6 business days after the close of the window. And what I have included here in this next picture here, basically the pass rates of the CPA exam from 2022. So obviously a lot of people did very, very well on BEC, obviously. And I believe the cumulative result here is that BEC and Reg were the best sections to pass on, while FAR really wasn't the best to pass on. And the one thing I will always say, and I've heard this from multiple people, from students, from my internships I've done, is that it's better to start planning on sitting for the CPA exam early while you're still in college. Because as the old saying goes, numbers never lie. So obviously you do here, if you take the CPA exam now while you're in college, you have a higher chance of passing. While on the other coin, if you do take it later in life, you have a lesser chance of taking. So moral of the story is take the exam while you're in college. It's worth your while. And again, I provided useful resources. So again, I did put a link to the NJCPA's website. And I believe they will be coming to BAP October 25th. They will be talking more about that, but I don't want to ruin all about that yet. But in conclusion, the journey of the CPA, education, FDU, application process, the NTS, schedule, study, study, study. Take the test and then, the ethics exam and then the final steps. One thing I will promote AICPA and SEMA's Engage 24 event. They'll be happening next year, June 3rd, June 6th, in Las Vegas, Nevada. And they do have a live online option if you want. Obviously, it is the industry's premier event in accounting and finance. They're entering an exciting new era with the right outlook and tools you're sure to flourish. And Engage 24, you'll have access to curated content developed by experts and focus on current necessary information and updates. With 7 tracks covering the profession's most interconnected areas of focus, you're guaranteed to enhance your competencies, expand your skill set, and gain industry knowledge to help you succeed in your career. And I did include a link in the speaker notes of this section. So before we move on to CMA, does anyone have any questions about what I went over with CPA exam, CPA evolution? Anybody on Zoom? Anybody in person? Yeah, move on then. All right, part 3. It's going to be about the CMA exam, the CMA designation. But before we talk about CMA, let's talk about IMA. I'm not going to go heavily in depth on what IMA is because we'll leave that for when IMA comes in here. But I'll talk about a little bit about it. So what is IMA? So IMA is the Institute of Management Accountants. So it's the leading association supporting the world's best accounting and financial professionals in the business. So basically how I think of it, it's basically you put accounting and finance majors together, best of both worlds. They have a network of more than 85,000 members worldwide, and that's still growing to this day with 300 local chapters. They have global offices in the US, regional offices in China, Singapore, Europe, and the Middle East. They provide the best in-class certification for critical internal financial management responsibilities. And fun fact, they actually have student chapters at colleges. And as my time as a Wiley campus ambassador, I was able to fortunately present to a couple of IMA student chapters last year. I was very, very surprised. I never even thought they actually had that until I learned about it. So I'm like, cool. And fun fact, IMA's headquarters is actually located in Montvale, New Jersey. So if anyone's interested in going there, go there, have a lot of fun with that. But to get this out of the way, the difference between CPA and the CMA, because they are not the same thing, even though they're both accounting designations, they are both different. So CPA and CMA, we already talked about CMA, we'll talk about right now the CMA. So the CPA, again, Certified Public Accountants. So their governing body is the AICPA, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. 55 U.S. states and territories, there's over 658,267 actively licensed CPAs, and that's growing to this day. While on the other side, you have CMA. Their governing body is the IMA, the Institute of Management Accountants. There's over 150 countries that are with the CMA, and there's over 75,000 CMAs awarded to date. So let's talk about the CMA requirements. What is the requirements to take the CMA exam? Well, if you think it's like the CPA exam, it actually is. It's basically cut that in half. There's 2 parts to it. Again, you need your bachelor's degree. You need active membership in IMA. I will talk about how you're able to get a IMA membership in a little bit with the CMA scholarship. You need 2 years relevant work experience, and you need to pass the CMA exam. So before we even talk about the CMA exam, I'll talk about, the CMA exam when you're able to take the exam. So there's a thing called 2 months on, 2 months off. Once you enroll in the CMA exam program, you must schedule a part of the exam within 12 months within a year. You must complete both parts within 3 years. And you must fulfill the education requirement within 7 years. So again, everything to the left is when you're able to take the exam. Anything to the right, you cannot take the exam. So the CMA exam is very, very, very rigorous. There's 4 hours per part, 3 hours for 100 multiple choice questions, and 1 hour for 2 multi-part essays. Now, the broad range of what topics will be on the CMA exam before I go heavily in depth on it: management accounting, financial reporting, corporate finance, economics, strategy, risk control, ethics, just to name a few. And the practical skills you have to apply to this exam: financial analysis, decision-making, effective cost management, strategy, performance management, controlled system design, risk management, and ethical behavior. So now you're probably wondering, well, what is going to be on the CMA exam? Well, this is what's going to be on the exam. So I'm going to break down what the CMA exam is for both parts. So it is comprised of 2 parts. The exams, like I said earlier, 4 hours in length, start with 100 multiple choice questions, concluding with 2 essay scenarios. These basically are like mini cases, and they can be taken in any order. So you don't have to take them like, with the core, the exam evolution, where it's like, oh, you have to take core and then you do the branches. You basically do either part 2 or part 1. So the part 1 of the exam is called the Financial Planning, Performance, and Analytics, and that's 6 sections. So the first one focuses on external financial reporting decisions, and it covers financial accounting topics, similar to what you would learn in your intermediate financial accounting courses. The next three sections, the planning, budgeting, and forecasting, performance management, and cost management, cover topics that you would learn in your cost or managerial accounting classes, such as master budget process, variance analysis, balanced scorecard, job order costing, activity-based costing, etc. The fourth section covers best practices in internal controls, and the final and sixth section is called the technology and analytics. They just added this 3 years ago in 2020. So basically, the section covers content related to accounting information systems, including topics such as data governance, technology enablement, and data analytics. The second part is the strategic financial management. This also has 6 sections as well. So the first one being the financial statement analysis. This focuses on financial ratios. So for example, liquidity ratios, profitability ratio, turnover ratios. You're expected to calculate the ratios and interpret them. For example, how is your company trending over time? How does it compare to competitors in your industry? Corporate finance focuses on the risk and return models and the financial instruments. Decision analysis covers things like variable and fixed costs, volume, profit analysis, and contribution margin income statements. Risk management focuses on best practices and enterprise risk management. Companies need to be prepared to managing risk by identifying them and creating plans to defer, transfer them, or I think in all of our best cases, to even avoid them altogether. The investment decisions section covers capital budgeting techniques like discounted cash flow, like DCF models, NPV, IRR, and other ways to evaluate investments for an organization. And finally, the last section focuses on professional ethics. Ethics is such an important topic to IMA as also to the CPA as well as the profession. They cover IMA's statement on ethical professional practice in this exam section. Now, the content covered on the CMA exam is very, very, very relevant. If you were to show this list of topics to a senior leader in finance or accounting, I guarantee you they would tell you that they need employees who have a mastery of these skills right up here. So you're probably wondering, well, when can I take the exam? Well, fun fact, you can actually take the CMA exam while you're still in college. And I'll show you how that actually plays out right here. So basically, for anyone who's a junior, I would probably take a look at this. So if you are planning on maybe sitting for the CMA exam, this is what I may suggest. So basically, you want to take your managerial accounting classes fall junior year, and then your IFA 1 class. Your spring junior year, take your business communications for accounting. I don't know if FDU offers that, but if not, then take IFA 2, which is intermediate financial accounting 2. Your fall senior year, you want to take your auditing class and then take your advanced managerial accounting or your advanced accounting class. That's where you want to take your first part of the CMA exam. And then for your spring senior year, you want to take your finance class, your financial statement analysis class, and then the second part of the CMA exam. And basically, a lot of the CMA exam covers topics that you're currently studying right now in college. So the exam content is fresh in your minds. As students, you're more efficient at studying and not easily distracted by other things like our phones and Netflix and all those other fun stuff. So that can help with the preparation for the CMA exam. Now, I did talk about, you do have to become an IMA member in order to sit for the CPA exam. And there is a way you can do that as a student. And that way is the CMA scholarship. So I will talk about a fun story about this because I actually am a CMA scholarship recipient myself. And the way I found about this, and I believe IMA was doing a webinar, I think it was my freshman year, and it was during COVID. And I heard about, learn about the IMA, learn about the CMA designation. I'm like, oh, I don't know what that is. I'm interested in learning about it. And they talked about the CMA scholarship. I'm like, you know what? I really want to, get more involved in accounting. And luckily, Professor Ron West, who was the head of the accounting department, was actually there, and they were talking about the CMA scholarship. So basically, I asked him, is there any way you can recommend me for the scholarship? He says, absolutely. So then, funny enough, I actually get the email saying, oh, I got accepted for the scholarship. And then I find out then 2 days later that, it's usually preferred for juniors and seniors. We can hold it for you when you come up there. I said, okay. And then funny enough, they then emailed me back the next day saying, well, the person didn't want to do it anymore. It's still open if you want it. And I said, absolutely, I'll take it. So it's kind of a funny story. When I always talk about it, every time I bring up the CMA scholarship because, it just hits home to me. So what is going to be included in the CMA scholarship? So your entrance fee to the CMA program is waived off completely. The exam support packages with retired exam questions and a glossary of terms. The registration fees waived for the first attempts at both parts. They're gone. So basically, if you pass both sections, you won't have to pay a single dime for it. 2 years access to a Wiley CMA Excel test bank for both exams, and you get up to 3 years of IMA membership while pursuing the certification. Now, the eligibility Students in U.S. and international accounting and finance programs, again, FDU, that qualifies as a, international accounting and finance program, and the nomination process. So faculty may nominate up to 10 students per year per school. So basically, if you are interested in learning more and potentially maybe, going out for the CMA scholarship, please let one of your accounting professors know, and they can happily, I can send them over an application form, how to fill it out, so they give it to IMA. But it's definitely worth your while to have the scholarship. It's definitely worth your while. I will talk about, some ways to get involved with IMA. I'm actually a part of the IMA Morris Essex chapter. And again, this goes based by county. So again, when I do give this presentation out to everybody, based on clickable links, you're able to view those to their own respective websites. I will be promoting a couple of things for IMA. IMA has their annual accounting and finance conference. Next year will be June 9th, June 12th at the JW Marriott San Antonio Hill County Country Resort and Spa in San Antonio, Texas. Basically, it is their annual conference expo. It used to be called ACE, and now they renamed it to IMA 24, their accounting and finance conference. And again, I detailed all the things in person. There's also virtual options as well. It is definitely worth your while to go to. But something that also is coming up very soon, next month actually, is going to be their IMA Student Leadership Conference. So basically, they hold this conference every November. And basically, I think last year they held it in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Actually, this is last year's T-shirt design competition winners, actually, from University of Scranton. So you definitely get to meet students from all around the country and potentially even all around the world for a great 3 days of learning from inspiring speakers, accelerating your journey from the classroom to the boardroom, and networking with recruiters from high-performing companies like, for example, Deloitte, KPMG, EY, just to name a few, who are looking to fill internships and full-time positions. You're able to meet like-minded students from across the country. And if you are an IMA student member, you actually go for free. But if you're not, you get attended for just $25. And basically give you also a free year of IMA membership. So again, it's worth your while if you want to go. And this year will be held in Detroit, Michigan, November 9th, November 11th. I did include a YouTube link for the highlights from last year's conference. And I do know Professor Ron West sent this out to all the accounting students yesterday, but I just want to highlight this. The IMA Student Series, their accounting and finance professional panel, they'll be held on October 10th from 7 to 8 p.m. Basically, we'll have 4 accounting and finance professionals coming on a panel. Obviously, I'm going to promote this because I'm an IMA campus ambassador, so I figured why not promote it here. But again, you can also scan this QR code to scan and register for it. It's completely free. It's a webinar format. You basically get to learn, and it's a fun time you're able to learn. So again, definitely worth your while to do that as well. So before we move on to the CFA, is anyone have a question with the CMA, the IMA designation, any in particular? Okay, that's questions, guys. Trying to make it engaging. Okay. All right, let's talk about now the CFA designation. So the CFA Institute is a nonprofit self-regulating organization that is not formally recognized by any governmental regulatory authority. Members of the CFA Institute are part of a global community of investment professionals dedicated to shaping and upholding the highest educational and ethical standards, cultivating fair and equitable markets, and serving investors and the wider public. Now, I know it seems like a lot to read, but let me put in a Cliff Notes version of it. A pragmatic way of looking at its mission is that it seeks to reduce the need for a government regulatory role by certifying the competence and ethical standards of its CFA holders. So basically, what is the value of getting the CFA certificate? You're able to develop a comprehensive investment perspective, gain fluency in practical investment analysis and management skills, earn credibility with industry peers, become part of a global community of top industry professionals, be sought out by top industry employers, gain the flexibility to work in a market, and demonstrate a commitment to ethics and professional standards. So basically, I just want to show a quick example of a starting salary of a research analysis. So basically, if you were starting out as an entry-level financial analysis, Boston, Massachusetts, for example, your midpoint salary would be around $74,000 compared to a salary of a financial analysis with 1 to 3 years experience who does have her CFA designation, $96,480. So it's definitely worth it to get your CFA designation. I have known a couple of accounting, couple of my good colleagues I do know from IMA who were actually CFA designated as also as CMA and CPA as well. So it's definitely worth your while. I will include some, notable recommendations from some of the things that we've heard from the CFA charter. Again, I'm not going to go read all of them out because I don't want to bore everybody. But let's get to the nitty-gritty. Let's talk about now who should obtain the CFA charter. So practitioners involved in the investment decision-making process and finance students or accounting students, either or, who desire to work in the investment management industry. Now, what is the CFA charter? I know we talked about CFA. What is the CFA charter? So the CFA charter is the most highly respected designation in the investment management profession, and it's a globally recognized graduate level credential. So you're probably asking yourself, well, why should I really even care about getting my CFA charter? Well, it's the gold standard in the investment industry and defines a mark of distinction. And it will gain a strong foundation in advanced investment analysis and portfolio management. So just to go more in depth about the CFA charter, like I did state, it is a global investment management industry. It demonstrates a mastery of investment management and analysis, asset allocation, portfolio wealth management. There's fundamental analysis, gauging financial health of firms by reviewing and evaluating financial statements. There's over 150,000 professionals across 163 countries, and that's still growing as of this date. So let's talk about now, when should I start pursuing my CFA designation? So you need one of the following: the bachelor's degree, or being your final year of your bachelor's degree program. So you need to be a senior and start doing the CFA exam. You need 4 years of professional work experience. So this is not to be investment related, it can be accounting, it can be finance. As long as professional work experience, you're gonna be okay. And then a university experience that is a combination of professional work, and it totals at least 4 years. So the part-time positions, they do not qualify, and the 4-year total must be occurred prior to enrollment. So how do I obtain my CFA charter? So you have to pass all 3, that's right, all 3 levels of the CFA exam and take the ethics pledge. You need to obtain 4 years of professional work experience in the investment decision-making process. Now, this can be occurred before, during, or after passing all 3 parts of the exam. You need to take 2 to 3 letters of reference. Now, in some cases, you could obtain 2 if one of them is a CFA charter holder, but that does rarely happen. And then finally, you need to join the CFA Institute as a regular member. So again, we have NJCPA, we have AICPA, we have IMA, and we have the CFA Institute for finance majors. That's where everyone will go for there. Now, how long does it take to pass a CFA exam? Now, I know we talked about the CPA, we talked about 18 months to complete, and basically even for the CMA exam, it could probably take you around 12 months to a year. For CFA, as I was going through this presentation, I was very surprised to learn that the average length to pass all 3 exams, it takes up to 4 years. So if you really think about it, that's like an entire undergraduate degree in college, which is like nuts. The one-time enrollment fee is $450, and the registration fee is $700 for each section. Now you're probably wondering, what do CFA charter holders do? So basically, based off this chart here from CFA Institute from 2019, some of them are portfolio managers, researchers, chief level executives, risk managers, trading. Oh, look, even accounting, even accountants are even CFA charter holders as well. You'd be very surprised to know that. Now you're probably looking at this, and this used to be the old way of doing the CFA exam. You had to go into an army bunker with 1,000 people and take the exam in person. Well, luckily, they actually got rid of this, thankfully. And there's now a new way of taking the CFA exam, which I will explain now, the new exam format and their cycle. So the CBT stands for computer-based testing, and all 3 CFA exams, levels 1 through 3, are now going to move from digital testing from prior paper-based testing. And the CFAI CBT partners, the Prometric and the British Council. So again, this is what the exam schedule will look like. And this is just accurate as of yesterday. So again, they do offer exams for all 3 levels. Actually, for all level 1, they'll offer every single one. For level 2, they offer it. Again, it does vary between months. And level 3, they do vary. But again, the fees are all there. It's level 1's the same one, $350. The registration, standard registration deadlines, they're all there. And then with our product, with Wiley, the exam format going to paper to computer-based testing. All exams are going to go from 6 hours to 4.5 hours. They say that's around an hour and a half difference. There'll be a reduced number of questions. However, there'll be the same average time per questions and the same question formats. And I will talk about those in just a little bit. And basically just a snapshot of what the registration fees look like. For February, you're able to do standard registration. For May, the early registration fee, you can do that. Standard, you have to wait for that to happen. So now let's go really heavily in depth on what is in the CFA exam. So in level 1, and I show in these beautiful pie charts here, we do have, investment tools, asset classes, ethical professional standards, and portfolio management. These will be the 4 key topic areas in each of these sections. But level 1 is usually more heavily gained towards asset classes and investment tools. Now, as we go towards level 2, you see that, you get to learn more about portfolio management, wealth management, and investment tools decreases, asset classes increases. As we go to level 3, asset classes takes over probably what the same size as investment tools was in level 1. Portfolio management actually takes over what investment tools was in level 2. And then basically the investment tools now has shrunk into the size of what level 2's portfolio management, wealth management was. And ethics is the same throughout every single one of them. So now go really in depth on what each level does take. So for level 1, it's all about setting the pace. You want to prepare for success. You want to make your study plan, get practical, your practice packs that the CFA exam does offer, and their learning ecosystem. So the learning comprehension here is knowledge and comprehension with a topic focus on investment tools. So some topics you really want to focus on are ethics and professional standards, and that'll be based off for all 3 levels. The financial reporting and analysis, fixed income, and equity investments, they make up 61% of level 1. One learning ecosystem, 10 topics are covered, 57 readings included, 400 plus global exam locations, and there's over 180 multiple choice questions, and 4 exams are offered yearly. So this is what basically a sample level 1 multiple choice question format would look like. So basically, you know, the directions, and then you have your questions and the choices you have. It's the same thing you see on every single exam you've taken in life and in college and high school. So nothing really new here. So level 2 is about prepping for mastery. You want to start with a quick review. Get to know the lingo. Be affectionate with vigilance and pace yourself. And be prepared to apply this knowledge more deeply. What I mean by that is basically take the knowledge that you learn in the classroom and apply it into real world situations. So again, learning focus is application analysis, with the topic focus being asset valuation. The topics here you want to focus on here are financial reporting analysis, fixed incomes, equity investments, ethics. They make up 60% of level 2. One learning ecosystems, 10 topics are covered, 48 readings are included. The same global exam location, the same. There's 20 to 30 vigilance, and there's 2 exams offered yearly. So basically, this is what level 2 is all about. So basically, as a sample, you basically have a case scenario to read, and then the full 2 pages later, it's basically the same style you did in level 1. So basically, it's like level 1, but you're adding something else into it. So it's basically kind of like a little addition to level 1. But now, level 3, all about the essay. It all comes together. Be mindful of time. Time management. Make sure you're able to manage your time wisely when taking the exam. Understand the format of essay questions. Show your calculation method and provide exactly what is asked for and nothing else. Do not go above and beyond. Just provide exactly what they want. One learning ecosystem, 6 topics are covered, 38 readings are included, 10 to 15 item set questions. There are 2 exams offered yearly. Now, the learning focus here is synthesis and evaluation, with a topic focus being around portfolio management. Now, like I said in the beginning, portfolio management, wealth management does like a big chunk of level 3. Actually, it's 40% of the level 3 exam. Fixed income, equity investments, and ethical professional standards take about 20 to 15%. And the topics will not be covered on level 3: quantitative methods, financial reporting analysis, and corporate finance. So basically, this is what sample 3 was going to look like. So basically, you have your directions, basically, you know, directions and response. And then basically, this is what you're used to do when you're taking in person, basically write them in these little, you know, text boxes, but just pictures of big giant text boxes, basically just type them in. I did include links for the current CFA exam dates, computer-based testing, what you need to know, the changes for it, and also Peter Linto talks about the video change as well. And here's a more breakdown of the course curriculum topics and weighting. So note there is overlap, and it may topic from level to level. The exemptions in level 3, like I talked about earlier, there are 0%. Note in level 1 that the topics are evenly distributed with the exception of the last 3. And again, ethics is a big part of level 1, and it must be studied thoroughly. Like I talked about the CPA exam, the CMA exam, ethics is always going to be everywhere. So just to go more statistical route. So basically, getting past level 1 is a litmus test. Since it's a progressive exam that must be taken in order, only the strong can move ahead. Explaining the high passer rates at levels 2 and level 3. Now, the past 10 years have been pretty consistent average, with the exception of the COVID effective exams. Now, when that does happen, the number of candidates dropped by a half in the COVID period. And 2020 showed abnormally high pass rates in level 2, though, but again, 1 year later, and 1/4 of the normal test takers dropped. And basically, this is based off of 2 reasons why. First, because of COVID, and second, based on the topic of deferred versus not deferred. COVID testing showed a dramatic fall in pass rates, and analysts shows that deferred candidates did much worse than those who were able to take the exam when originally scheduled. And there's no curving on the CFA exam. All must pass a predetermined bar. The same goes for CPA, goes for CMA exam. Any designation you're going to go for, there's no curving. And it's basically whatever you get, that's what you get. So There also are curriculum changes within the CFA exam, more particularly into crypto and blockchain, which basically is not a passing fact. And with the Bitcoin boom, it has given rise to regulated future trades in Chicago CBOE, blue chip firms like Goldman dabbling in digital assets, and increased investors' confidence in crypto-related startups. So basically, they have included cryptocurrency and blockchain topics in levels 1 and 2, the remaining being fintech and investment management. And again, we actually here Wiley hired a new CFA instructor from our like competitor Kaplan about that. So that is basically the CFA exam. So does anyone have any questions when we go over the live demo? Because I know we have a little bit of time left to go over that. Anyone on Zoom? Anyone in person?
How many people are on Zoom?
2 people on Zoom.
Scott and.
No, Joe and Ricky. All right. So basically, we're not going to show you a live demonstration of what the Wiley product would look like. And this varies. Again, it'll be the same thing. CPA, CMA, CFA, it'll be the same thing, but just different, different topics. So basically, when you do on the homepage, you basically see your exam planner, like I talked about earlier. And basically, once you lay out how many hours you want to work a week, it basically will tell you when you're able to sit the exam, finishing studying on the time left to review, and the plan basically, and for this plan, 11 hours a week for 11 weeks. So then once you get there, you're able to go to your exam plan, which basically will give you a calendar of what you'll be doing each day. Obviously, you have a pie chart there on the right with your course completion, and it tells you what work has to be done, what has to be finished. So when you do go into a course, it basically will give you the video, if they do a video webcast sort of thing, a flashcard, basically have ideas, the info, and basically a study guide on the right. And then basically able to highlight that if we keep moving forward, basically flashcards that they made. And I do have also 2 modes you're able to do assessments. So there's study mode and there's exam mode. Study mode, you're basically able to study them, and if you get it wrong, they'll show you what the correct answer is. If you do exam mode, basically you'll treat it like an exam. So basically it's just, you pick a choice, and I don't know what I got until you finish the exam. So like, for example, this basically will be an example of it. It'll show you how much time you spend on each of the questions, the choices you have, and it'll tell you if you got it right or wrong for the study mode. If you're exam mode, you have to wait till you finished it, and then it'll tell you what you got. So basically, that it would be on there. And the next steps, obviously, and this is kind of like what Wiley suggests, if you got a score of 75 or above, move on to the next lesson, 60 to 74, retake the question, retake the exam, and look at the question you missed, and then score 60 or below, identify areas that you struggled on. And then basically, it even does a detailed layout of what you'll be doing each and every day when you're planning for the CPA exam or any of the exams we do have here at Wiley. So like, for example, like for CPA, auditing attention, basically, doing assessment, risk, and developing a plan response. Basically, give you the due date, how much estimated time you should take for each of them, your time, the points, and then your score. We do offer here is an adaptive review. So the adaptive review is powered by our Focus ME technology, which maximizes your study time by identifying the lessons that you need to study more. So how it works is basically if you answer questions correctly, the question difficulty increases. If you get wrong, the question difficulty decreases. So basically, you can avoid easier questions to eat up your time. And if you're struggling, it will get a little bit easier. And after each section, they basically will highlight your strengths, your weaknesses, and link directly to the lessons that you need to focus on. And once you complete your lessons, they recommend you using adaptive review to see what you need to review before proceeding to the post-assessments. So basically, as an example, this is what one of them would look like. So basically, your adaptive review could range from 10 to 30 questions. Really won't tell you what state number is. It'll cover the topics based off of this. And then basically, when you're done taking that, you basically have this. So basically, we'll tell you the priority. If you have 3 stars, don't worry about it. You got it. 2 stars, you're almost there. 1, mainly we really want to focus on that. So basically, gives you a breakdown of how well you did on each topic. So basically, we'll talk about here our Wiley courses we do offer here. So again, we do offer 4 types of courses. So if you do want to go it alone, we do have a self-study course. So basically, we'll offer you free updates until you pass. And this goes for all 4 of our courses we do have here: the test bank, the mock exams, the practice questions, and the study guide, along with the exam planner and the formula sheets. If you do want to go for the silver course, you get everything in the self-study. You'll also get added on the lecture videos. The gold course, everything is silver. You'll also be getting online mentoring and video, virtual classroom, online classes. And if you really want the big one, like the big prize you get at those carnival games, the big prize, you want to get the platinum course, you get everything from gold course, but you'll also be getting the final review seminar, the mock exam seminar, the 11-hour review guide, and the additional mock exam as well. So basically what I have here in the next slide here, basically is a QR code. It'll give you all of our essential exam guides from CPA, CMA, CFA, Again, if anyone does want to get these, again, just please feel free to reach out to me. I could give them to you. But again, I will leave this up there for about a minute if anyone wants to take a chance and do that. Now, I do have a gift for everybody, for everyone being such a great audience. You guys are actually able to get a 50% discount off of any review course you want. On top of that, you're able to get a free Microsoft Excel course for accounting on us. Thanks to my friends over at Wiley and myself, we're able to provide you this free. So if you really scan this QR code right now, you get a free complimentary course. And if you pass, you're able to put it on your resume, put it on your LinkedIn profile. And I will say I did learn a lot when taking that course. It is self-paced. Definitely worth your while to do that. But yeah, so that is it from me. Again, thank you so much for having me come in today, speak with the CPA, CMA, CFA exam, and I hope you guys learned a lot about all the exams, and hopefully you choose Wiley as your test prep course. But with that being said, that's it. They want any last minute questions? Anyone on Zoom? Thank you, Joe. All right, so next week we'll have Clifton, Larson, Allen come in. I think they'll be serving pizza, I believe, at this meeting because I think they're going to be paying for it. Again, please, tell all your friends to come. We'll be serving.
Okay, if they're going to be.
Yeah.
We should send out something soon.
We will. We'll do it. We'll probably do it like Friday. We'll do it.
And then again on Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to do that. I had that in mind. But yeah, if that's all, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you all next week for Clifton, Larson, Allen.